What's up, guys? RyHo here, and I'm about to do a video that I wanted to do since like October. If you guys remember back then, I started doing like a series of other horrors for Halloween kind of thing, and I did a bunch of zombie ones. And I kept saying, you know, I was saving the best for last, my favorite zombie movie, I was going to do it. As you know, I got crazy busy, basically just been doing the high score kind of videos for the last little while. But I wanted to get this one done really badly, and a lot of people have been asking for some kind of horror-related stuff. I mean, a lot of private messages and comments and stuff like that, and it's definitely something I wanted to do, but now I finally found some time. So today I want to talk about, as you would have seen in the title, my favorite zombie movie, which is Return of the Living Dead. I guess we'll get right into it. Basically, it was written and directed by Dan O'Bannon, who, I mean, this guy, he wrote, I believe he wrote Dark Star, he wrote Alien, I think, maybe Aliens? No, Alien. Can't remember which one he wrote. He wrote one of the original Alien movies. I think he wrote one of the stories for Heavy Metal, he wrote Life Force, he wrote Invaders from Mars, Screamers, like all these different movies. He's had like a hand in writing them and stuff like that. And if you even go back to like the 70s, this guy like worked on special effects on fucking Star Wars. So he's like a real master of horror, you know, a big deal I think in a lot of ways. He basically wrote and directed the film, but it's based on a story by John Russo and Russ Streiner. Russ Streiner being the producer and John Russo being the screenwriter of Night of the Living Dead, George Romero's classic. And apparently, I guess the idea is that John Russo wrote, I don't know if it was a book or a story or something, and it was sort of a, I wouldn't say it's a sequel to Night of the Living Dead, but it's sort of like maybe a semi-sequel. I would say that Night of the Living Dead is sort of like a primer for this movie, in that the idea behind the film is that there's these guys working at a medical supply company, Freddie and Frank, and they're total fuck-ups. That's sort of the fun of the movie. This is like a horror comedy kind of thing, and Freddie's new on the job, and Frank says, you know, something really cool, we have real zombies, you know, stored here. Basically the idea is that George Romero saw a real event that happened in Pittsburgh, made a movie about it, had to change a few details, but zombies are real, and none of the rules apply. Like, they've completely abolished all the rules. You know, zombies can run, and they can talk, and they've got intelligence.
I thought you said if we destroyed the brain, it'd die.
It worked in the movie!
Well, it ain't working now, Frank.
You mean the movie line?
And the idea here is that they don't want to eat people's bodies or anything like that. Like in Night of the Living Dead, you saw them just eating bodies and stuff like that. They want your brains because it makes them not feel the pain of being dead. That's basically the idea here. And of course they fuck up and they release some gas, which you know, starts to make them into zombies, and they release one of the most, I think the most iconic zombie of all, who's Tarman. Tarman is just this sort of gooey zombie guy that they let out, but he's the first zombie to ever say like brains. Like that's a big deal, because I mean that's sort of an iconic thing that goes with zombies these days, right? And that's all in here. That's all in this movie. I actually did a list on Five-O-Rama for around Halloween. I did a zombie list, and I did like, I think it was the most recognizable zombies, something like that. I'll link it, and you guys can check it out if you really want. I have Tarman at #1, and that's the reason. When most people think of zombies, they think about that sort of thing. They think about brains and them eating brains and things like that, and that's all completely straight out of this movie based on the story that John Russo did. So there's sort of this connection there with Night of the Living Dead. A lot of people think they just used the title Return of the Living Dead as a total cash-in on the title, and I guess in a way it might have been that, but at the same time, I don't know what the original story was called, but there is a connection there with the original guys that made Night of the Living Dead, were involved in making it. But you know, aside from that, you've got a hilarious sort of tongue-in-cheek horror comedy, you know. They poke fun at the whole zombie genre. They poke fun at their own, like, they don't really poke fun at their own movie, I guess, but it's just like, there's this whole group of teenagers in it, and they're these, like, they're complete punks. It's so extreme. Like, none of them have real names, I think, except for, like, two. Like, there's Scuzz and Suicide and Spider and Trash, and of course Trash is played by Linnea Quigley, and this movie is also famous for the fact that she's naked pretty much the entire film when she's on screen. Spider is played by Miguel Nunez from Friday the 13th Part 5. And it's funny because like he is the most hilarious character in this movie, if you ask me, man. You know, at first you think Suicide's got to be like the angriest motherfucker that ever lived, like if you're watching the movie. But Spider is 10 fucking times angrier. He, like, every line he delivers is just him getting pissed off.
What is it? It's dead! People screaming!
Good, I'll drive. No. I'll drive.
Fuck you!
About stuff. It's just hilarious. And they're just so extreme, I guess, is like it's what makes it funny. And then of course, like you said, you got Frank and Freddy, these two fuck ups that end up like turning into zombies, and it's just like funny to hear them talk the whole way through, and like realizing what's happening to them. Also, you know, I won't say exactly what happens, but a lot of zombies get released like at some point in the movie. And they're hilarious. You know, they have these great lines. At one point, they eat these two paramedics, and they notice there's a radio in the car, so they get in and they get on, and they're like, "Send more paramedics." They just like, it's just hilarious stuff. Some great gags. The gore effects in the movie aren't like insanely good. They're decent. The zombies look fine. There's some cool creature effects. One zombie in particular, the half lady or whatever they call her. It's pretty good, and I believe the guy that did the special effects for this movie did a lot of stuff too. Like he did like Friday the 13th Part 3, worked on Friday the 13th Part 3, Prophecy, Chud 2, Bud the Chud, Return to Horror High. But this guy actually went on to do, like, he's a big deal now. He does like Iron Man 2, stuff like that. Alan Apone is his name, and he did the special effects for this. So like it's good. It's decent. Like it's not like overly gory, I would say. There's only a couple scenes where I can think where there's a lot of blood, but you don't need that sort of thing. It's not a bloodbath movie. It's a comedy. It's funny. It's intelligent. It's got a different spin on things. It ends fantastically, I think. Yeah, it's just a great little piece. If you're into zombie movies and you haven't seen it, which I find pretty surprising, most of the stuff I just said probably just you know that because you've seen the film. I don't know, it has a little more soul than a lot of the movies out there that, you know, there's a lot of zombie movies out there, guys. You know, George Romero fucking up and not getting copyright on the, you know, the term or the idea of zombies left it open to being used by anybody. So, you know, you can get caught in a lot of, like, shit, to be honest, out there. But this is honestly, it's my favorite, I think. One of the best ones out there, and if you haven't seen it for some reason, you need to go check out Return of the Living Dead. This is just the original release I think they put out. There is a special edition out there that I haven't picked up yet. But whichever way you can watch it, you should definitely check out Return of the Living Dead. Anyway, I've talked enough. You need to go check it out for yourself, and I want to thank you guys for watching, as per usual. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm really hoping to get some more of the horrors out in the next little while. Got a couple in mind. Yeah, I apologize for not having done one in a long time. So I will talk to you guys later, and peace.